Dude,
What do you think?
Such an amazing film.
Oh, good.
It's I can only imagine such a daunting task to live up to The Shining, Stanley Kubrick film, but this does it. It's
Right.
amazing. But I gotta ask, so your first day on set is in Bruce Greenwood's office, and that is the recreation of the office from the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
When you get there, what's the first thing that goes through your mind when you walk into something like that?
Well, your first day on set is very much about discovering the film, right? Discovering the vibe with the crew, the vibe with the director. How you've no idea how a director's going to work until you start working with them.
Sure.
You know, you can have as many meetings as you like and rehearsals, but until you're on set, you don't know. Are we going to be doing 50 takes? Are we going to be doing 2 takes? You know, you don't know. You don't know how you're going to feel in the part, and often with those first few days, you're not quite there yet. You have to start. You have to start playing scenes in order to feel like the character. And often the first scene you shoot is often, you know, you're still a bit rough around the edges. So, and then on top of that, here we are recreating a very famous scene from The Shining, you know,
Right.
and really recreating it. Like I try not to pay too much attention to what they were doing, you know, because it's probably not very helpful for the actor to know exactly, but the shots are the same shots. The lens is the same lens. You know, they're recreating that scene as a sort of subliminal homage, if you like, in the middle of the film. So it was interesting for that to be the first scene. But also, I loved working with him. He was great. And I think we were both, you know, I think in those situations on your first day, your other actor is, you know, you're just sort of locked into each other. And that's your security, is being able to play the scene with that other actor. That's where you feel safe, you know, and everything else can feel a bit scary, but that's okay, you know.
This is a great sequel, not only to The Shining, the film, but also it's a great sequel to the book as well, like with the Dr. Sleep book, because it plays both ways. But
Yeah.
are you surprised where Danny ends up at the end of the film? Not necessarily the book, but the film? I don't want to give anything away, but...
Yeah, I hope, yes. And I hope the audience are too.
I hope so too. I got to ask a Star Wars question because that's a big thing.
Sure.
But we know you're coming back as Obi-Wan. I'm a huge fan of yours and a fan of the franchise. Just in your opinion, if you can bring back any character along this journey in this Obi-Wan series with you, who would that character be?
Oh, I can't. Well, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't want to say. If I say anything, it's going to go ballistic. It's going to bonkers.
Well, I mean, it's your own
isn't it?
opinion. It's not saying it's actually going to happen, but just if you could bring back any of those characters. who
Well,
would it be?
it's not down to me to bring them back. So
True story.
I don't think if I open my mouth, it's just going to go bonkers.
It probably
Jar
would.
Jar.
There you go, Jar Jar
Yeah,
Binks.
yeah.
Confirmed by you.
See what I mean?
But the original performances of the original cast, how did that help your performance with Danny?
The original
Yeah, so
Kubrick's movie.
the original Jack and Wendy and
I
Young
watched
Man.
a lot of Jack. I mean, I watched the film obviously inside out just because I'm fascinated by it and I'm fascinated by Kubrick, and it was a really interesting way to watch a movie that you know afresh, because you're taking that story forward and playing one character from that movie. You start exploring it in a weird and wonderful way, and be in the art department, you know, looking at the sets and then looking at some of the documentaries that have been made about the making of that film. And there's a great sort of conspiracy theory documentary about The Shining, which is bonkers. But you know, the way that the corridors couldn't lead to where they led to, and that room couldn't have been there, and there they are in the art department trying to figure out, well, what do we do? Do we honor that, or do we make it work? Or so it was really interesting. And I just more than anything, I was watching Jack because I wanted to be believably his son, you know. And this story is so much about Danny's relationship with his father, and what kind of impact would that have on you as a tiny boy to go through that experience with your father and then lose your father,
right.
and be the victim of his violence and be the victim of his alcoholism, and then to become alcoholic yourself and be sort of drink all of that muddle, an emotional muddle inside of him. I wanted to feel that Jack was present somehow, so I tried to sound a bit like him, because I think we do sound like our fathers. We can't really help it. We've got their voice in us somehow, and so I watched a lot of him, you know.